Your team. Shout out to Rep Your Team. Or is it, yeah, Rep Your Team? I can't remember. And I put Denver Broncos, and somebody put sucks. And I said, well, I don't remember what I wrote, but he says, you must be new to this group. And I said, no, I've been in the group for a while. I just don't disrespect anybody's teams. So. But that's what a lot of people do. I guess they disrespect the teams when you get into those groups, so it's pretty crazy. But once we get rolling and people know we're back on the air for sports, we're going to get a lot of listeners. I think we kind of shocked people. I think after we get off the air and we start promoting it more to all the football groups and stuff, they're going to be all happy that we're back on the air, because I had a lot of complaints wondering why we're not back on the air. But we're back. We're on KBLP Sports, the IKE and NIKONA Miller podcast, sports podcast, with Brooke BEEGLY, who will be here every week with us. So it's pretty cool.
Yep.
So who's Julie's evil twin? I don't know who that is.
She has an evil twin?
That's what she said. She has an evil twin.
Oh.
I'm like, what the heck?
No, Jez was confused. She has two accounts, and that's why Julie. Julie, I love her. She cracks me up.
I know. We need to get into the Broncos, though, guys. I know it's fun talking to all our group members, but we need to get into the Broncos because we're gonna have a lot of people listening to this later after we post in all the groups and let everybody know we're back. So remember, we're back on Mondays. Every Monday after tonight, we're back on Monday. So make sure you tune into us and check us out. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm pretty happy to be back with sports. I missed it. It so much.
Yes.
You know what? Let me tell you something, though. This is kind of funny. Is after the Super Bowl, I was like, oh, it's going to be forever before football comes back. And now we're already here, and it was like, dang, it didn't seem that long. How did it feel for you?
Are you kidding me? I thought I was having withdrawals as soon as the Super Bowl was over with. I thought I was having withdrawals.
I was having withdrawals. What are you talking about?
I know. It got so bad that I was on YouTube constantly watching highlights of our boys. That's how bad I was. I mean, and then Michael and I, we would sit there and for some reason, we talk about football. Well, plus he plays Madden on the PlayStation all the time, so we're always talking about something relating to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just so glad that, the regular season's just a couple weeks away. I'm just so excited. I'm ready.
I know. I just can't wait. And then you guys are going to be down here, so that's even going to be funner. It's going to be more exciting to have you guys funner. It's going to be funner.
You're lucky my daughter didn't hear you on that one.
Funner. I said it kind of funny.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. It's going to be my first pro football game ever.
Deborah wants to know if there's a Pittsburgh Steelers team. Yeah, they're still around. They got their butt kicked last year in the playoffs by guess who? The Denver Broncos. We got to recap. We're running out of time because we're over here getting into the conversation with everybody. I got to click off of that. So let's get into the first preseason game, and we'll talk just a little bit about that, how it went offensively and defensively, which was pretty awesome. They played Jay Cutler, and they played the Bears. The final score was 22-0 or 23-0. What was it?
It was 22-0.
Yeah, 22-0. Sanchez got the start. He looked really good. He was on target every time. He threw a pick, but it was a goofy pick. It was one of those tip ball picks that you practice in. And it was kind of weird. It was supposed to be rub routes to the right off a bootleg, and the receivers didn't take care of their rub route, and the ball ended up getting tipped and intercepted. But besides that, Sanchez, that first game, played really decent against the first stringers. And then we get over to Simeon, who came in, who also did pretty okay. There was nothing outrageous about it, saying that he's going to be the starter or anything like that. He looked like an average quarterback, a good backup, which I see him in the future as, especially with Lynch moving forward probably as a starter. And then we go into the Paxton Lynch start in the third and fourth quarter, where he I talked to you, Brooke, and I felt like that first game they completely shut the playbook down on him. It was like handoff right, handoff left, and they let him throw the ball a few times. So I didn't feel like they gave him too much of an opportunity. And then I want to go into the defense real quick. The defense in that Chicago game, we had third and fourth stringers in there before the end of the first quarter was over. Do you remember?
Yes.
That's how pumped up these guys were.
And they had a total of 7 sacks. That was beautiful.
Yeah, so they played an all around good game because they had special teams, they had defense, they had offense. So they played a good game. Both between Sanchez and Lynch, or Sanchez and Simeon, I say we're about the same. And then Lynch was not as good as either one of them, I don't think, that first game. But you got to remember, I really feel like they shut the playbook down on him. But then when you move into the next game, when we get into that, we'll talk more about that. So how do you feel about everything that I just talked about on the first game?
Well, I agree with you. Sanchez looked really good. Starting off, he had that pick, but that was kind of a fluke. I mean, that was understandable. It really wasn't all his fault. Simeon, to be honest with you, I really wasn't impressed with him when he came up. He looked nervous. He looked uncomfortable, and that kind of worried me. And I don't know. I think I don't see him being a starter. I see him, like you and I talked about before, I see him more as a backup. I mean, eventually he'll become a starter. That's what I believe. But right now I still see him as a backup. Now, Lynch, I totally agree with you. They should let him have more control of the field, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I wanted them to let him have complete control. I wanted to see what this young man can do. I believe, and Michael and I were talking about this, and that he sees this as Simeon. Now, I want your opinion. Simeon, I meant Lynch. He sees a combination of Tebow and Manning. Now, let me explain. The reason why he says this is because he's got the fast, the quickness like Tebow did. And with Manning, he's really football smart. He really is like Manning was.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with that. I do believe that there's a little bit of Tebow and a little bit of Manning and Lynch. What do you think?
I think that Tebow had a nonstop engine, and then Manning is a computer on the field. Manning is a little older, so I don't think he got to grow up on computers earlier, but his mental capacity was like a computer,
Exactly.
So,
that's how, I agree with, my husband that, it's just a little bit of Tebow and a little bit of Manning. And with that combination, this young man is going to go far. I believe he will.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe in Lynch. Like I said, I'm hoping he's the first day one starter, and I've been saying this since they drafted him. I'm like, why would you give up your first round pick if he's not going to be your day one starter? Why would you go through all that? And then, boiling down to John Elway, I was at the press conference. Remember, I talked to you about listening to John Elway, and he basically said Lynch is not ready in the playbook. Physically, he has everything. I'm watching him, and he's better than both Sanchez and Simeon physically.
Exactly.
And I'm just, and that's just all honesty on my end. I'm just saying that.
And I agree with you. I mean, my word, we did everything we could to get him in the first round, like you said. Okay, this this kid is so smart. I mean, he could read just like Manning did. So why not? Why can't we use him?
Yeah.
You know, I really want to see him. I hope that either, you know, this coming up game or the last game, we actually see him being with starters. I really want to see him be with the starters. I want to see what this young man can do.
Yeah. The third game is, you know, like I said, I think that they had picked Simeon to be the starter, but breaking news today, he has a shoulder injury. So if he missed a practice, I'm eating a cough drop again, guys. Sorry. If he missed a practice, he's not starting on this next game. He's not starting this next preseason game because this is the game where the starters play into the third quarter.
Yes.
And Simeon was picked to be the starter. So it leads me to believe that Sanchez will be the starter. But I want Lynch to be the starter because I think that Lynch needs to play against the first and second stringers. The thing they did with, we talked about this, is the thing they did with Brock was every year for 3 years, they brought him out against the third, fourth, fifth stringers. So everybody was like, Brock and roll, Brock and roll. He played great. But he was playing against guys they were just bringing off the street to fill in, you know, to get through some of those preseason games. So, of course, he's going to look good, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, he's going to look good, and that's what I don't want to happen to Lynch. I want to see Lynch against the first and second stringer. So if we know we got the quarterback of the future. We don't know if we got the quarterback of the future because the last two games he played the third and fourth quarter, in which there was third, fourth, fifth, sixth stringers out there. We don't know if he's really that good or if it was just because he was playing against guys that are probably not going to make the team. You know, guys that are going to be in the Canadian League, Arena Football Leagues. You know, these are the guys that he was playing against. He wasn't playing against the top dogs, you know. He wasn't playing against, you know, San Francisco, you know, the big linebacker they just signed this week. You know, they just gave him a big contract. He wasn't playing against him. So we don't know, you know, and he took some good hits, though. You know, but them guys are all out there trying to make some teams, so... that's a lot where that's a lot where that went to, you know, as far as that situation goes. So let's get over into the second week, and we'll see how you feel about that one. The second week against San Francisco, which was a little bit tougher. I know we kind of recapped we kind of went into San Francisco a little bit, but Trevor Simeon got the start, and then Sanchez came in, and then the same thing. Lynch came in against the third and fourth, fifth stringers. And then, but this time our defense looked a little different. They didn't look a little as strong as they did the first week. And I don't know the stats. I'll have to look that up. I don't know the stats on Chicago's offense compared to San Francisco's offense. But San Francisco's offense moved the ball around on the Broncos. And
yes,
that was kind of because, you know, we're over here talking about having, you know, a top 5 defense again, and if people are going to see that San Francisco, a team that's not very good, move the ball around on the Broncos, it's going to be tough, you know.
Exactly, and I think what I'm getting kind of a little frustrated, and yes, I know it's just a preseason, but the offense is still a little shaky, and that has me concerned for our regular season coming up. I don't want to go through what we went through last season. You know, having basically the EMTs on standby because of our offense. And I want to know what was up with our defense. We weren't as solid as we were against the Bears. That had me a little concerned as well.
Yeah, I was defensively, but it's one preseason game. So, you know, they could have, because you remember they practiced together that week.
Yeah.
So they could have talked earlier in the week and said we want to run these plays, you know, lay back a little bit and let our players run these plays, because that's what a lot of coaches do sometimes. They get lackadaisy, you know, on some plays. So that could have been the situation. You know, they were like, since they worked out together, they kind of knew each other's plays or kind of knew what they were what